to another episode of the Winning with Shopify podcast. If you've never tuned in before, my name's Nick and I'm hosting the show, which is why I'm the first voice that you've heard. Welcome to Tuesday Tea Break Talks. We are resuming normal service on Fridays with guests starting this week. I only had one complaint that we didn't post last week, so apologies. But we are resuming normal service. Sorry to press my microphone's in completely the wrong place, but there we go. We are now organised and ready to start the show. 26 seconds in, who knew? But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking through a few things. If you've never been on one of these before, I've got some notes on my phone I'm going to read through. Have a little discussion about a few bits and pieces and some stuff that's going on in the world and all things Shopify e-commerce related. And so we're going to go through what tea I'm drinking today. It's kind of irrelevant, but it's kind of fun. People have actually been sending me drinks. Some I've drunk on the show, some I'm yet to drink on the show. We talk about quote or fact of the week relating to e-commerce, some of the big topics going on at the moment, things that clients talking about. We've got another big stat in there that I want to discuss with you guys. We're going to talk about any big things going on. Every week I'll have something I want to talk about. And this week we're going to talk about CRO and how to increase the conversion rate on your website, some of the stuff that's going on in my world that can help. And then we're going to finish with a thing called Quivia, a question about a piece of trivia. Interestingly, more people reach out off the back of one of these, probably because I'm ranting and occasionally saying the wrong thing, which I'm well known for in my family circles, but saying the wrong thing or saying something that really resonates with people. Some people reach out. We get more people reaching out from a Tuesday Tea Break Talk than we do generally from a Friday interview. We've also got a few bits and pieces coming up that I'll announce as we go through. But anyway, it's new year, new me. I bought a smoothie maker. So in my smoothie today, we've got some berries. We've got blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, which is hence why the colour's gone a bit purple. I put some vegan protein in, which if you're watching on video, there's a little yellow bit at the bottom. The vegan protein isn't quite mixed, so I'm not really looking forward to the end of it. And I didn't put enough water in. It's very gloopy, but it's really healthy. It's also got creatine in there as well. It's got creatine, protein, all the other stuff. Why vegan protein? Well, I'm not vegan, but my body doesn't like dairy. So I'm drinking a smoothie. Anyway, on with this week's show. So there's two interesting stats here I want to discuss. One is that smartphones account for over 77% of retail website data worldwide, which comes from a thing on HubSpot. And the main thing I actually want to talk about is HubSpot, not this particular statistic. This stat is actually from 2024, not even 2025, and we're currently in 2026. What I want to talk about, though, is this HubSpot it's called, sorry, I'm getting a phone call right now, Marketing Statistics, which come from HubSpot. And they release these every year. And this is taken from the one they released at the beginning of 2025, so how to grow in 2025. They're about to release one as well for 2026, which is quite exciting. So we're going to keep an eye on that. There's some stuff in the old one about conversion rate optimization, but there's some really, really interesting things. So for example, email marketing was the most effective channel in 2024. And actually looking at some of the updates, it's also sources at the end of 2025 quoting the same thing. Email generally has been the most, or one of the most effective, but in a lot of cases, the most effective channel for conversion. And 2.8 conversion rate for B2C e-commerce brands, 2.8 conversion rate, which is good. I see brands all day, every day smashing that and having a much better conversion rate than that on their email. The problem brands normally come up against on email is actually getting the volume of sales through it. And a lot of brands we talk to are spending so much time, energy, and money sending emails out and not getting that direct conversion. So I would highly suggest having a sit down with your team and genuinely putting a statistic on the table saying we want 1/3, 33% of all of our sales coming from at least repeat buyers, predominantly driven by email this year in 2026. So email is a massively missed opportunity. And I think one of the things people forget on email is most businesses will design an email on desktop. I found some stats recently from, I think it was .digital and MailChimp released the numbers on how many people actually clicked on the mobile view to see what their email looked like on mobile. Yet here we are, going right back to my initial statistic, 70% of retail website visitors in 2024, and it's going to be similar, possibly higher in 2025. 77% of retail website visitors in the entire world were on a smartphone. So you've got to be building stuff for smartphones. I mostly check my personal emails on the smartphone. I'm sure lots of you guys do as well. I use my laptop a lot, but as soon as I'm on the go, it's phone to keep an eye on things while I'm in and out of meetings and whatever. So a lot of people are not optimizing those emails for mobile. And it's not just the design, it's also the size. You think that you're on a 3G, 4G connection somewhere, middle of nowhere, or you're on a bus, a train, you're on a flight and you've just landed. You've got minimal time for people to look at that email you've just sent them. So actually having the most important data in the subject line, most important thing at the top, and not having too much of a heavy load of data for that device to download, really, really important. I think email is probably where most brands I see and talk to are going wrong. So busy with acquisition, they're not busy enough with retention. And actually the problem with that is if you retain your customers and they buy multiple times, it's going to cost you a lot less. Lower marketing budget, more revenue equals more profit. How exciting. Second thing in quote or fact of the week as well. Sorry, an off point, not a second point. It's just another line on my notes. Reminder to optimize for mobile. So both the website as well as the actual email campaigns themselves. So yeah, make sure you have a look at that. I would even go on Google, search for your brand on mobile, look at everything and go, why does it say that? Why is this thing over here? When I was loading the page, I tried to click something and it moved. In the SEO world, we call it CLS, Cumulative Layout Shift. And you can even get a score on CLS using Google's free page speed insight tool. So go and see what your CLS score is. It's things moving around on mobile, one of the biggest killers of SEO and killers of conversion as well. So this is what I want to talk about this week. This is one of our big topics. Before we talk about CRO, and then we'll talk about CRO once we've not talking about CRO. Talk about this thing first. Lots of our clients, we were on a call with one. It'll be yesterday when this goes out. It's today when I'm recording this. Record these on Monday because it takes a little while for the guys to do the edit and everything. But one of our clients said they're using synthetic focus groups. And they're not the first client to mention this, but I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the show. So let's talk about what a synthetic focus group is. It uses AI, and you change the way a page looks, or you give a web page or an email campaign or any bit of your marketing, a video, to this synthetic focus group, this AI. And the AI pulls it apart, and it's not bulletproof. You need to take some things with a pinch of salt, but a majority of the things it comes back with are really, really interesting. And what it's trying to do is get in the head of customers, and it looks at the data of how people use a web page anyway, tries to learn how people engage with your site. And then that AI gives you some feedback to say, well, when this page loads, people's attention's probably going to be over here. Most people click on these buttons. So on this new design you've given me, probably going to click over here. And it starts to try and estimate actually how much more engagement or less engagement you're going to get if you rolled out the new design of this thing. So very exciting that you could quite simply screenshot your website, open it in Photoshop or a similar editing tool, Canva, move a few things about, change some wording, and then put that into a synthetic focus group, and you get some data pretty much immediately to say, I say pretty much, it probably might take 5 to 10 minutes for it to actually render the data. But if it then starts telling you all this funky data about how many people are actually on your site, does it think are going to interact with this? You can start to get a kind of, is this going to be a good or a bad change? Start to get some of that insight before you go any further. So I'd definitely go on Google and look at synthetic focus groups and see what, see what that could do for your business. And also getting it to use your website. You might disagree with some of the points on it, but this is all subjective. It's one of the things I love and hate about design and branding is it's quite subjective. As a data guy, I like putting numbers on stuff, but I fully accept that's my world. There's another world of design and creativity on the other side. So that's one thing I want to flag today, is to have a look at those things. The second thing I want to bring up, which is really interesting, and this is from a publication which I think is UK only. If it is in the US, apologies, guys. And it's 93% of people read online reviews before making a purchase, which is interesting. That starts to give quite a few insights and quite a few things we need to think about, and actually does tie into the CRO bit as well about what customers are actually saying in the space of reviews. What I haven't read any further into this, but what would be really interesting is to find out how much more weight than 93% actually is put towards brands people don't know versus the ones they do know. I would hazard a guess people are less likely to look at the reviews of a company that they do know compared to one that I've never heard of this brand, but I like the product I'm looking at. How authentic is this? Well, let's see if people have actually gone and reviewed it. One of the interesting things that I don't think brands do enough is if you type in your brand name into Google and type in your brand name, so say it was Nick's T-shirt shop, so Nick's T-shirt shop, and then just put reviews on the end, see what sites come up. We work with quite a few of them. We've had Trustpilot, Judge Me on the show before. You can do some product review stuff through Seguno, one of our existing partners, and a whole suite of other tools, FIFO, Reviews.io. There's loads of different review partners that we work with. But what's interesting is Trustpilot by far have the best domain authority in the SEO space. They have the best content. They're probably the most trustworthy as far as Google and probably customers as well are concerned. More people search for Trustpilot by about tenfold. Again, I probably should have had the numbers on the screen in front of me, but I did a report on this. In fact, while we're talking, I'm going to bring the report up because I've got my laptop in front of me. So let me pull this up. Basically, the long story is, and I'll give you the numbers on this in a sec. Here it is. So this was January last year. I pulled these numbers off. More people look for Trustpilot than any of the other platforms by several fold. Let's get the actual numbers. So I'm speeding through a guide here. Here we go. So just in the UK, and then I'll tell you the global one as well, 673,000 people search in the word Trustpilot to Google. FIFO was 8,000. Yotpo was 2,900. Reviews.io was 1,900. What's interesting, Shopify is one of the biggest platforms for any website in the world, obviously for e-commerce. It's a huge player in that space. Judge Me are the most used app in the entire world for Shopify, specific Shopify apps. So Judge Me, more people use Judge Me than any other app, not just reviews, but any app at all. And they're not listed on our leaderboard of the top 4. The global search volume for these things at Trustpilot, 2.7 million people a month on average across the world type just the word Trustpilot into Google, let alone Trustpilot and then a brand, Trustpilot and a domain or a URL to see what these guys are doing as well. So the reviews bit, when I read that 93% of people look at reviews before purchasing a product on this drum report, not surprised in the slightest. So I think a few things you guys should do. One is look at how many reviews you've got, how many you're gaining per month, and do a bit of a cost analysis, not just cost, but SWOT analysis of all the different review platforms you could go for. Trustpilot is one of the more expensive ones. Judge Me is a bit cheaper. If you want a review platform as well, once you've decided or you want some advice, send us an email. We're happy to advise on that, and we can get you guys some discounts on those things. None of them are existing sponsors at the moment, as I say, but we can certainly comment on that. Send me an email, which is NICK at winningwithshopify.com. Happy to comment on that. But type your brand plus or your website plus the word reviews into Google and see which ones come up. And you basically want to go, one of them might have thousands of reviews and the second one down's got like 10 reviews and it's 1 star. That's bad. You might want to think about even just generating some reviews from real customers, but on the free platform for some of the other review platforms, just to mitigate that risk. And also look at how prominent reviews are on your website based on the fact that on average, 93% of people are going to look at reviews before buying a product. So you want to make them more prominent if they're not already. You can either have product reviews, service reviews. I didn't realize I was going to go into so much detail about reviews, but I could talk about it all day. We have some fantastic partnerships with Judge Me and Trustpilot, so I know a lot about this space, and as I say, had them on the show quite a bit before as well. All right, so little thing from me, and then we're going to talk about CRO. The little thing from me is we're going to make a big announcement on Friday about something we're doing this year. I've been teasing this for a while, and then next Tuesday, I'm going to do predominantly an episode about that thing. I'm going to talk in a lot of detail about how you guys can get involved, about how tech platforms, apps, and other stuff can get involved as well. It's going to be very, very exciting, and it's easily, hands down, going to be the biggest thing we've ever done as a business in terms of reach, volume, and how many of you guys we want involved and signing up for it as well. So yeah, you can probably work out roughly what it is. Any good guesses? Maybe I'll send a free Winning with Shopify mug out. If you send me a guess, Nick at winningwithshopify.com. If it arrives before next Monday, or next Tuesday when this goes out. Sorry, Friday. Friday we'll announce it. Sorry, very scatty, Seven. A very, very mixed morning. But let's talk about CRO. So I've got a few points on how you can increase your conversion rate. These are the winning things from 2025 that we found here at Spec. And we should put these into a blog post. I don't know why we haven't, but we should. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my team to do that and make a blog post out of this because it's great. There'll be a lot more than this, but these were some of the big ones that I have case studies for or have statistics on as well. So the first thing I would say, and this is a bit of advice rather than a test, assume that all of your customers are very, very lazy. Make sure your website has big buttons, clear offers, clear expectations are set amongst your customers as to what's going to happen next if you purchase this product, if you use this product, if you buy this product, if you purchase from our website. Clear expectation. You would not believe some of the best A/B tests and CRO uplifts we've ever had are where we've just gone, is that obvious enough? And everyone's gone, yeah, it's pretty obvious. But then we make it a bit more obvious. It might be that it's free delivery on all orders or it's 40% off today only. We make it a bit more obvious in the design of the page, and more people just kind of buy stuff. They're also lazy, so just make it really, really easy. This second and third one, I'm going to link these together because they relate to it. One's a statement and the second one's actually having to think about how you might change some processes. The statement is, and I'm really sorry about this because I wish this wasn't true, but it has been pretty much unanimously. I can't think of an example where it hasn't. Doesn't mean it hasn't, but don't always assume that your customers care about the things you're passionate about. Always assume they're selfish. And I've put in brackets, ouch. Because actually, when we've focused more on discounts, loyalty schemes, fast delivery, how amazing your life's going to be if you purchase this product, we found that sales have gone up. It's the hard truth about marketing is people generally are buying for themselves, whether that's buying a gift for someone else to make you feel good that you gave them the best gift. Do you see me? Almost every situation, and I hate this because I try to be as selfless as I can in life. It's just the reality. So then that begs a massive question, which leads on to my next point, which is actually going, well, what if we are planting trees? What if we're helping orphans? What if we are providing running water to people that don't have water? And all these incredible causes, both for the world, hoovering up plastic from the ocean. We had Last Object on the show, an amazing brand called Last Object. And their whole thing is if you buy a product from us, it lasts forever. All their products are made from plastic that has actually been hoovered up, basically, or vacuumed, sorry, Hoover's a brand, vacuumed up from the ocean. So plastics come out of the ocean, they've made products and they sell them. And the idea is it's such a good product, you'll never need another one again. So if you buy a toothbrush from them, it's the last toothbrush you should ever need to buy. Amazing, amazing. So how does that then feed in? Because loads of brands go really heavy on that. When you've never heard of the brand, you land on the website to look at a product because you clicked on a Google shopping listing, or you've landed on the homepage because someone's recommended the brand, or you've seen an advert somewhere. Brands go so heavy on how much plastic they're saving, about the fact that all their delivery is done via green, electric vans rather than petrol ones. Everything's made in this country. It's vegan. It's organic. People go so heavy on this stuff. But again, in CRO tests, or A/B tests to increase conversion rate, I've been kind of impressed we've increased the conversion rate, but also saddened and disappointed by the fact that when we've taken some of that messaging away or tried to... as my good friend James Carnes from Rapa Nui said on the show just over a year ago, he sort of said to us that actually we try not to greenwash too much. He called it greenwashing, and I know it's quite a well-known phrase. Greenwashing is an interesting way of putting it. So what do we do? Like, we still want to plant trees, and there's a guy actually who's on the show later on this week. I won't say too much, but he's doing some of this on his own land, which is incredible. Like, he's actually bought a few acres of land. So tune in on Friday to hear more about that. But what do you do then? You're doing all this good stuff, and Nick's sitting there telling me on his podcast that we don't actually care. I think it's about finding the right place for it and where it's most effective from a marketing point of view. Because in a way, my personality type is debater, so I like playing devil's advocate. Turn it on its head and see what happens. So if we turn it on its head and say, actually, if we just focused on the kind of selfish, lazy sales route for our customers here, and we made things really easy, made it clear, and we try not to greenwash too much or tell them what fantastic charitable work we're doing and how much we're helping the planet, which are all things I would endorse and all things that I love telling people. I bought this product and like a kid's got an education, which is a genuine thing I did recently. I bought something and I got an email saying this young lad has now got an education thanks to you for the next year. I was like, I need to buy another product in the next year. Was my response. So part of it is going, well, if you just make the sale and you increase conversion rate, increase revenue by focusing on how this product's going to change your life as a consumer, you can do more of the charity work. So that's a positive. The second thing, which I think is really interesting, is looking at where you bring that messaging into the customer journey. So actually, if you bring that into the customer journey post-purchase, so you send them an email saying, by the way, you've just placed an order with us. Thanks for your order. But let's show you what happens next. And actually, it becomes both informative and entertaining as much as it is actually doing good work and now spreading what's happening as a result of you purchasing that product. Again, listen to the show on Friday and hear what this guy then tells his customers he's done on their behalf. And I don't want to spoil too much because I want you to listen to the show because you'll hear it. He said it way better than I can, and you'll hear it from him. But it's really interesting that actually if you had an email saying, thanks for purchasing from us, you've just stopped 9 plastic bottles going in the ocean because we only use plastic packaging. Our products are bought on trains. And all those trains that bring the products here are either electric or they are diesel, but they're super low emission compared to a plane from China, for example. It's going to fly across from China all the way to the US. It's a long journey, or to the UK or Europe or something. So actually thinking about buy this product, it's for good causes, but this amazing product, go buy it. And you start with that messaging. Then the email campaign actually starts to nurture that person to a lifetime customer, saying, if you start a subscription with us, we're able to invest more of the revenue from your order in good causes and doing good things than we are trying to get another order in from another customer. So actually, if you now have a monthly subscription with us, you will make, although there's 12 months and it's a monthly subscription, you will make 20 times the impact than 20 individual customers would. That's a fantastic, or more than 12 would if we had one a month, because we've got to spend more money on marketing and running the operations. So that's amazing. So have a think about that. And almost every business now is planting trees, clothing kids, running water to people, providing equal opportunities, supporting some sort of medical condition, like some fantastic charities out there. And I rarely see a business that's not doing that. So have a think where that fits in the journey. Because actually, if you can increase conversion, then increase awareness to a wider group of people because you increase conversion, business runs faster, the charitable work is then increased multiple fold, which is fantastic. Next one, delivery threshold testing. Test it at multiple levels. So is it $50, $80, $100, $200, $800? I bought quite an expensive jacket the other day. Not this one, but I bought quite an expensive jacket the other day for an event we're doing soon that I want to be incredibly smart at, as much as other events and weddings, because my wife thinks I'm really scruffy. So I'm working on that at the moment. So if any of you run any sort of fashion business, I'd love some advice on I'm going to regret saying this, but send me some advice on clothing I should wear, new haircut, whatever. I'm open to all ideas at the moment. I'm trying lots of things. Hence this new overshirt, I think it's called. But try these different delivery thresholds. Try doing one at a higher point. So that jacket I purchased was, for me, quite an expensive item, but it was only actually like £5 above the delivery threshold. I was like, flipping it, it's a really high delivery threshold. But again, that's based on their total customer, as I am now, but wasn't before I purchased. I'm having a change of life and decided to dress more like my age and my role in life, or my roles. You can test on your products, white background images versus lifestyle ones. Most businesses have both, which is good. And I think everybody should have both. So in terms of testing them, I would test them on Google Shopping. So to see, do we sell more when we have a white background or when we have a lifestyle background? And I would literally do that granularity every single product. On collection, and have some in white, some not in white, try different. And also, just because the lifestyle background didn't win doesn't mean lifestyle's not going to win. You can try multiple lifestyle backgrounds. You can also, even though it's a white background, you can test different subtle changes. You could put a shadow behind the product. You could go for a different color background instead of white. So there's lots of things you can do with that. Collections on your site is another good place. Do you want everything with a white background? Do you want every fourth or fifth product something to have a full background on it? Do you actually want to not have a product every sixth product? So instead of a product, just have a full background screen square that brings across some part of lifestyle of your business every third or fifth or eighth product or something. So as they're scrolling through a list of products, it's like, do you know, we offer 0% finance on if you want to buy now, pay later, and it's 0% finance. Another one a bit like saying, you're buying a fitted shirt. Well, here's our sizing guide to help you find the right shirt. Or put your measurements in, measurement-based shopping or something. So you say, put your measurements in and we'll tell you how to measure yourself, and then we'll filter all of our products by just the ones you can get in this size. Fantastic. You could put people in pictures and test having people in the images, not having people in the images. There's a beds business that we did a bit of work with and pitched to a while ago, and they had no people in any of their pictures. And I sort of said, who are these products for? And they're like, obviously people, they're beds. Like, obviously this is for a person, a human. I said, well, where are they all? There's not one picture of somebody laying in one of these beds, big smile on their face, hands behind their head. Some of the beds, TVs, you could have a TV in the, not the headboard, the footboard, I think it's called. I don't actually know what that is. But anyway, at the end of the bed, you can click a button and a TV pops out. Someone watching, husband and wife cuddled up, watching late night telly. That's a fantastic shot. Or maybe the whole family all in mum and dad's bed, watching a film in bed, bit of popcorn. Wouldn't allow that in my house. We don't have any food in the bed. Don't want crumbs. But anyway, the point is people in pictures versus without. The amount of products I see where it's like there's products everywhere. There's not one single person enjoying any of these products. I'm not buying this product because I need it. I'm buying it because I want to look and feel good. So show me a picture of this overshirt on someone. It makes a lot of sense. Filtering options on collections. So you could test changing the filter options, make them easier to use. Better than that, look at the statistics of what things people generally sort your collection by and what filters they start to put on your collection. If everybody filters this same collection to blue products because they want blue, for example, you should probably make a blue collection and work out how that fits in your site hierarchy. So there's loads can be done with filtering to help people find, especially if you've got thousands of products, to find the right product. You can increase conversion by helping them get to that product again quickly, easily. You might have some of this stuff on your site. Again, play the game of make it obvious. Is it obvious where to filter? No, it's not, because it's in the same color as all the other buttons. But we know that when people filter, we make twice as much revenue than when they don't. So those are the kind of statistics you want to start looking at. Last couple. I love this one. Shopify does, I think it does this automatically. I don't actually know. I don't spend much of my life in the cart. I spend a lot of my time on the main part of the site. But I know on Shopify Plus, plenty of brands have changed this. And if you're not on Shopify, you've probably got more control to change this anyway. But when you reach the checkout, make it as quick and easy and fast as possible. And one of the ways to do that is to have like a 1, 2, 3 that it tells you maybe at the cart before you go into checkout, for example. Number one, number one, choose your items. Number two, place your order. Number three, we ship it within 1 to 2 days. We're going to ship this product. Super simple, but it at least reassures people, and it's setting the expectation. Going back to what I said earlier about big buttons, clear offers, and clear expectations. So tell them this is the process you're about to go through in the cart. If you've got a more complicated product, which you need to have like a booked delivery slot, or you need to put a huge amount of measurements in before someone can order this, or actually this product has to integrate or work with something else, so we need to ask some questions before that. Again, these steps are absolutely imperative. So it's like step one, make sure we've got the right product. And again, using the right wording doesn't sound like oh my gosh, this can be so long. The user goes, oh, that's good. I need to make sure I'm buying the right part for my car, and it's going in the right place, and it's the right bit of the engine that I'm putting this part in, for example. So I need to be absolutely abundantly sure. So it says, just before you check out, do a number plate lookup to make sure it's the right part or something, or the right color for your vehicle, or whatever. And then you go into do that, place your order, we ship. It's a nice, simple, so even if it does take 5 or 10 minutes, people are like, you're doing this for my own benefit. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Winter colds, the UK common cold, we call it. And finally, increasing and decreasing the number of payment options. Why would you decrease it, Nick? Makes it simple. People are lazy. Back to my original point. So actually, I would test having PayPal on the site, take PayPal off the site, see how many people use PayPal. Excuse me, I'm sneezing again. This is why I'm drinking smoothies, immune-boosting smoothies, and I have had multiple herbal teas today. But anyway, changing the amount of payment options to give people the option as to whether it's, if you just say like all major cards accepted, or you say we're just taking credit card, having all the options sometimes can put people off. If you have 3 different payment options that give you 0% finance, reducing that to 1, you might find more people check out. You might find it's actually confusing people going, I do want to do finance. But now the merchant, have raised the question to me, the customer, which one do I actually want? Or which one should I go for of the 3? Now I'm like looking at terms and conditions and stuff. And actually they pretty much all provide a very similar service, or if not the same. So why don't you, the merchant, do your homework, just have 1 0% finance option. Like, don't talk about Apple Pay if someone's on a desktop. Don't talk about Google Pay if someone's on an iPhone. Don't offer Shop Pay if no one's using it. And I think this kind of stems from a much deeper thing that I find with a lot of brands, and it's nobody's fault, but a lot of brands will do things for their own benefit, not for the customer's benefit. It's like, well, let's call it this on the site. And again, Guy on Friday talks about this quite a bit in regards to the clothing that he sells. We want to call this a garment, but I call it a t-shirt as a customer. So call it a t-shirt, not a garment. We spoke on Friday as well about colors, and how the supplier's color, he's actually had to Google some of the colors that suppliers use when he's buying the products in, because he was like, what the heck's that? And they're going, it's pink. Do you know what? I don't think anyone's going to type in whatever magenta or whatever color that is. They're going to type in pink. So I'm just going to call it pink. So there we go. Anyway, that's almost it from me today. We're going to have a bit of fun now. Quivia, I'm going to have a sip of this smoothie if it does decide to pour. It's the vegan protein, still not. I need to up my game with these. I need to work out what order to put things in, and maybe I need to mix the protein with the water first and then put the fruit in and blend it. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. But anyway, what content formats, so I'm reading this terribly, what content formats deliver the highest ROI on TikTok? Content formats. Your options are short form content. The second one is image content. And the third one is live stream video. I'm going to try and have a sip of this thing while you decide that. So is it short form images or live stream videos that get the best ROI? It is nice. I've gone for unflavored vegan protein because I wanted the fruit. It's a bit stodgy. I'm still going to drink it. It's full of health. Anyway, in last place, I can do this like some sort of judge announcing the winners. In last place, the live stream videos is 16%. So that was a third of the total. So 16% ROI. 16. I don't know what the percentages actually mean. I've taken this off a study, but I don't know what the percentages mean. Anyway, live stream videos had the best ROI. Maybe let's assume it's percentages of brands. But anyway, the top one does make sense. So live stream videos, 16% of brands got the best ROI on live stream videos. 19% of brands got the best ROI on images. And then the top winner was short form. 22% of brands get a good ROI from short form over the other two. So have a think about short form content. If you don't know what that is, Google it. I've gone way too long today. These are supposed to be quick. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's been Nick. You guys have been great. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. See you on Friday. And big announcement on Friday. I only subtly talk about it for a minute on Friday or for a few seconds. Next Tuesday, I'm going to do a whole episode. Probably a bit of news, but we'll predominantly talk about what's happening later in the year. Thanks so much for tuning in. You've been great. And I hope you can join us again soon.